Hi guys, welcome to our continuing tutorial of the standard template library in C++, and today we'll be looking at maps. So I decided to skip over linked lists and stuff like that because in the it's different from a vector, but in the ways of how you use it, it's very similar. So if you want to look up linked lists and everything like that, please go ahead, go to cppreference.com or just Google it and you'll find a ton of stuff and you'll have a lot of fun reading it. But I decided to focus on maps because it's a pretty important subject and it's a little bit different than a vector. And then we'll do multi-maps, which are even cooler. So let's start with an example because I love starting with examples. And just declare map, namespace, I can't spell today, and our arguments for main, which are not necessary, but it's good to memorize them once in a while. So, here's our main function. Basically what a map is it's a vector of keys and a vector of pairs. Each pair contains a key and a value. So what this means is that by using the key you can look up the value, which is kind of useful because if your value's a string with 1,000 characters, you don't want to compare 1,000 characters of a string every single time. You can just compare the keys. Well, we'll get more into comparing keys in multi-map, but for maps, let's just look at an example. So map, and it's a templated class, so we need to specify parameters. And so the first parameter is the key type, which is going to be an int in our case, and the second one is the value type, which is going to be a character pointer, basically just a string, but C style string. And we're going to call it, let's see, just capital map, right? Or if you want to separate them, let's call it my map, because that's easier. And so now we can do this. My map 0 is equal to Charlie. So what I've done here is I've taken an element of my map, which I just created, and I said that my map with the key of 0 is going to be equal to Charlie. So now I have one element in my map that's equal, that has a key of 0 and a value of Charlie. So now I can say let's do this the fancy way with iterators, because that's how the C++ library kind of wants you to do it. So we'll just declare an iterator, and you hopefully know what those are from the vector tutorial. So my map int char, so we have to declare the same type of iterator, and let's declare it constant because we're not changing the values, and we're gonna just call it it. Let's put this in a for loop, right? So is equal to my map dot begin. You should be familiar with the begin function, right? Oh, it doesn't fit on one page. That's a bummer. Nope. I'll just kind of separate this into sentences or small chunks. And then it is not equal to my map dot end. So while we haven't reached the end of the map, and just plus it will be our incrementation function. And here's our for loop, right? So it will loop over all of the elements, and then we just we use the cout function, and we say my map, and then since it is now holds a pointer to a pair, right? A pair of a value and a key. So to get the key from this pair, right, we want to say let's see, we want to say it first. Oops, come on. Here we go. And just some useful stuff. And then we have continuing on. So my map dot first, which is the key, is equal to it second. Oops, second, which is going to be the actual value, right? And let's put an end of line at the end. So all we have right now is a for loop that runs over our map and says, well, let's just print out the whole map. And let's see it in action. Oh, well, I didn't make a pausing anything to pause it at the end, so I'll just fix that quickly. Return 0. Here we go. Oops. So now it says my map 0 is equal to Charlie. And if you want, we can make this make you see this a little clearer. Yep, like that. So my map 0 is equal to Charlie. So let's add another one. My map 1 is equal to Bob. So since our function loops over the whole map, we don't have to update anything, and it will just will print out both of them now. And let's scale this down to a viewable area, and we have my map 0 is equal to Charlie, my map 1 is equal to Bob. We can also do this in terms of, we don't have to do this sequentially. You can say my map 5 is equal to Richard, right? And so now when we print it, we'll get my map 0 is equal to Charlie, my map 1 Bob, my map 5 is Richard. So now we can say, before this, we can say that my map size is equal to, and guess what? There is a function called size. Isn't that convenient? So my map size is equal to my map.size. And we get my map size equals 3, and then we get the elements. So you see how it's convenient? It will get better. So also, instead of doing this, we can use another function called mymap.insert. And then we need to insert a pair, right? So the pair is going to be the same type as the map holds, so int character pointer. And it's going to be made up of a key, say 3, and then a type, say, I don't know, Jamie, right? And now it will insert it into our map. And now we have map size equals 4, and see how Jamie was kind of squeezed into there? That's really convenient because it auto-fitted and auto-sorted it by the key. So your vector is always sorted by key, which is kind of nice. I mean, if you're dealing with telephone numbers or anything like that. Now you can also say you want to insert the first element. We'll call this the third element, right? We want to insert a first element. To make the insertion process a little quicker, what we could do is we could declare my map map int character pointer iterator insert, say this, is equal to my map dot begin. And since we're going to insert this next to the beginning of the vector, we're just going to put begin as the first parameter to this insert function. What it will do is it will start looking at the beginning at our iterator, which we specified, and it will shorten the time that it takes to insert this element. So that's the first rundown on maps, and since I ran out of time in my 10 minutes, I'll see you for the next one, and have fun until then.